What is up, guys? Daily Duke back again with another video. And today we're going to talk about 5 reasons, hi brother, hi sister, 5 reasons why I dislike the KTM Duke 390. Let's get into it. Oh, you dirty little YouTubers, you. All right, reason numero uno. Reason number 1, rough and or stiff suspension. So actually KTM has one of the better suspensions, having the front fully adjustable with rebound on my right. I don't know if you can see that. And then we have the compression on our left. Not all bikes have those features in this class. It's actually a pretty great value to be able to get these forks and have that adjustability. Along with the rear is adjustable as well. I believe you can adjust it on the fly. There's a little tool that comes in the toolbox, and you can basically just adjust it on the fly. So say you're going to go pick up a rider, they're going to jump on back, you can give a little wrench and adjust that back end to accommodate for the extra weight back there. What's up? However, oh, that was a po-po. However, I hear a lot from other people, and I kind of noticed it a little bit. It doesn't really bother me too much, but the suspension is a little stiff. I would say they're like the Yamaha MT-03, the Ninja 300, the Ninja 250. They got a little bit softer of a suspension. I guess that's good for longer rides and kind of all around, especially if you're in traffic. But you know, to each their own. You tell him, buddy. You tell him. He's in a hurry. Yeah, for me, it doesn't really bother me. It's actually a benefit in a way, because I ride on smooth roads as it is, so I don't really get the bumpy roads, bad roads around here. So the suspension for me, it works great, especially in the corners and the back roads. That's where it excels. This thing launches as it's the corner rocket, right? However, speed bumps, city driving, it does get a little bumpy, especially if the roads are bad. You're hitting potholes, and oh man, it is a little rough, I'm not gonna lie. But overall, the suspension on this is fantastic. It's actually fabulous, especially the way I ride and where I ride. I don't really have any complaints on it. I have hit a couple of potholes, and it was a little rough, but you know, next time just don't hit potholes, right? Who knows? Reason number 2. Reason number 2 is this bike gets hot. What's up, brother? This bike gets really hot. It runs pretty warm. I'm sitting here at 204 Fahrenheit right now. If you're riding in traffic daily, stop and go, and you're not cruising at speeds, man, this is going to be a little rough. This bike's going to get warm. It's going to tend to want to overheat. These bikes already naturally run pretty hot. It is a single cylinder engine. You're going to feel that heat between your legs. I guess that's good in the wintertime, but summertime, especially like anything around even 70 degrees, you're going to feel the heat. If you're standing still at lights, especially if your bike is pretty warm, you know, always, you got to account for that, I guess. I know there's other bikes that kind of run a little warm, but I don't think is bad as the KTM, especially the KTM Duke. This thing, it does run a little warm, especially on those hotter days. Your fan's going to be going off constantly while you're at lights. It's kind of annoying. Doesn't really bother me too much. Again, the roads that I ride, they're all back roads. I don't really stop at too many lights. As you can see, I think I have 2 or 3 lights on the way to my home, and then it's just back roads from there. So it's pretty much smooth sailing. I don't have to stop too much, which is nice. But yeah, that heat is definitely a factor in stop and go traffic. If you're in California on the 405 freeway, That's gonna be pretty bad unless you're splitting lanes. I wouldn't really split lanes in California. I've seen too many accidents there. They're gnarly. People in California don't care about motorcycles. But, you know, I guess there's people who do it. Definitely not my way. I maybe cut up in line if cars are stopped or something, but I ain't filtering through traffic like that on the freeway. It's pretty gnarly. And the traffic gets pretty bad out there. Oh, time to go. And Geronimo! Yeah, so take that into account. I don't know if that's really bad. I mean, it runs hot, but it's start riding. It cools down. We're at 183 now from sitting at that stoplight, but definitely I've seen it go to 204, 210, 218 sitting when it's pretty hot out, but I've also ridden when it's like 95 degrees, and yeah. And reason number 3. This is kind of my own qualm, but there's no cruise control, man. Like, come on, KTM. You had all the parts already, everything. You could have easily, look at this, could have been right there, but no. The 2025 Duke 390s, they have cruise control. What the hell, KTM? I guess that's just an added feature. You know, at least it came with the race pack already in it. The only thing you have to unlock is the quick shifter on this bike for the US version. I would have loved the option to have cruise control, you know, a little switch right here. That's just such a cheap feature KTM could have added, and you know, it costed them dollars and they could have made a lot more money on it. It would have been a huge value, because man, it's be so convenient to have cruise control on this. I know I have heard a couple of people on some forums that actually are buying the 2025 housing and putting it on their 2024 and taking it to the dealers and having them unlock that. All right, buddy, let's do it. Having them unlock it at the dealership, which is, you know, it's tempting. I don't know. Do I really want it that bad? I'd have to cost it out. What's up, brother? Oh, he's gone. But yeah, I mean, maybe I'll look into that and see what that price is, how much it would cost. I'd pretty much install it myself and then just have them unlock it. I wish somehow there was an open source and we were able to unlock this stuff on our own, but KTM has locked it down pretty well, apparently. But, you know, what are you going to do? So yeah, quick shifter. I think that's kind of my own thing I'm calling out here. It's not like the bike has a problem without it. You know, it's just a feature that didn't come with it. But man, I don't know how many other bikes have cruise control in this like category of bikes. Like, I guess like anywhere from a 300 to a 400cc bike. But I know it's out there, and I know KTM put it on the 2025. So. Man, that would have been so much nicer for this bike on 2024. I'm a little jealous it came on that 2025, but yeah, I think that's just my own problem. And reason number 4, comfort. Specifically, that seat. I hear a lot of people actually complain about the seat being really uncomfortable. I haven't had that many bikes to compare it with, so I mean, I don't find it to be too bad. I have taken a longer ride and my butt was a little sore. It would have been nice to have a little bit more padding, I guess, but I mean, it's a naked bike. How comfortable are you know, sport bike seats? I couldn't imagine them to be much better. I do know that KTM makes that ergo seat. It looks nice too. I like how it's black. However, it's out of stock. I think hundreds and hundreds of people have been trying to buy it for so long, and mean, people have been trying to buy it for so long, it's just been out of stock. They purchase it and they wait. They're on a list and they haven't got it. I don't know if, I know a KTM kind of halted production for a bit while they were going through their money situation and, you know, bailout from whatever that Indian motorcycle company is. But yeah, I know they stopped producing a lot of parts for KTM bikes while they were going through their money thing. And what's up, brother? Wow, there's a lot of bikes out today. But it seems they got the production back. I know that they're producing parts again. I know that they're shipping. I know a lot of parts are in stock now. I haven't really checked too much on the seat. I haven't really heard too much about the KTM Ergo seat either. So, or at least seen any more posts. So that means they're probably back in stock and they're back shipping again for a good, I don't know, 6 months though. Those things were impossible to find. Impossible. However, I mean, I don't find it bad. I have about a half-hour ride home, and I'm fine. It doesn't bother me at all. I can see if you're taking a longer ride, especially anything in the hour and a half, 2.5 hour range, it's going to get a little uncomfortable, definitely. And I could see that's where that Ergo seat would come in. And to be honest, the pillion seat on this is probably not much better than the regular seat. You know, obviously it's smaller, it's going to be worse. So, you know, your carry-on, your riding buddy probably isn't going to be down for a ride longer than an hour and a half. They're, well, at least without a nice brake, they're not going to be too happy. Definitely is smaller. Also, kind of off topic, but it does sit you a little bit higher, especially with this on this naked bike with the passenger. You're fighting wind once you get about 60 miles per hour. It starts beating you up pretty well. My windscreen helped pretty well too. I did like that. It's definitely an improvement. However, if they're the same height as you, someone sitting in back of you, they're going to be taller than you on that pillion, and yeah, he'll definitely get more wind resistance. You both are going to be kind of getting beat up by it, but I mean, they're passengers. They don't need comfort. You just tell them to get on and hang on, right? Reason number 5, reliability. Right? Reliability. Everyone, KTM. You know, for the most part, KTM has fixed all their problems. I know they had like a cam problem or head problem and probably a bunch of other little problems, but for the most part, they're working through them. At least they acknowledge them, acknowledge the problems, and come up with a solution and fix it for the most part. Some more than others, but you know, I know they had that problem with the heads. They fixed that, addressed that. I think for this bike specifically, it's kind of a two-parter here, so bear with me. The reliability so far, I think from, I would say the 2019s, 2020 KTM Dukes, in my opinion, have been pretty strong. Been hearing pretty good things, nothing major. Oh, you dick. Seriously. So in my opinion, yes, KTM has gotten better. From, I would say, around the 2019s, they have addressed and fixed most of their issues. Those bikes seem to be pretty reliable. You don't hear too many major catastrophic failures, just normal things that happen with a lot of other bikes. Oil leaks, head bolt, oil leakage, you know, bolts leaking, I don't know. Yeah, oil leaks, shift sensors, clutch sensors, and kickstand sensors. Little things like that, little tiny bugs. And which kind of leads me on to my second part, is the reliability. One of the biggest things on this bike is it runs lean. and this clutch sensor sucks. So stock, this bike will die on you all the time, especially say I'm in fifth and I'm on it and I'm coming down to a light and I am clutching and downshifting, specifically just trying to rev match. Man, if I'm not keeping the RPMs rev, the bike will just cut out and die right away. This happens on a lot of KTM Dukes. It is a no problem. A lot of the fixes is the clutch sensor. However, there is notes that it's still happening even after that fix. However, there is a fix, which KTM, get your crap together, because I shouldn't have to go buy a Powertronics Fuel X light in order to make your bike run better. Come on. But yes, the Fuel X light, one of the best things that you could buy for this bike. You put that on, for me it almost completely eliminated the clutch stall. I would say after about a week of the Powertronics learning, the only time it will ever die while downshifting and clutching in is when the bike is cold. After it's warmed up, I haven't really ever had it die on me. So there's that, you know, take that with a grain of salt if you want it. I know you shouldn't have to buy an aftermarket part to fix something so stupid, but it works, you know. What can I say? It works. I'm happy with it. It overall just made the bike run better, like a lot better. And I would also, to another part, this could be number 6, but I'm only going to leave it at 5. This is just a side note, is if you're in stop and go traffic, stock, this bike is a little rough. Low gears, first through third, low RPMs, this bike's it's gonna be a little jerky. It's not gonna be that smooth. However, again, the Fuel X light for me fixed that, and first, second, and third are my favorite gears on the bike now. That's again my opinion. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. What do you dislike about the Duke? To me, honestly, it was really hard for me to come up with 5 things that I disliked about the bike. And even though I dislike them, I'm still okay with them, if that makes sense. The suspension, yeah, it's stiff, but you know, it's still good. It's actually great in corners, so it's racing, riding hard, it's beneficial. Potholes and rough roads, it sucks. Reliability, my bike's been perfect. Also, I did the Fuel X and it fixed everything. So, let me know, comment below. And as always, if you guys enjoyed the video, found any entertainment at all, please hit that like button, share it, make sure you subscribe. It really helps. I really appreciate you all. Take care. Peace.